Today's episode is brought to you by Viralcast, the first and only completely done-for-you podcast production service. Build new relationships, create a deeper connection with your database, and get exposure to new audiences. Here's how it works. You interview influencers in your market. You start building that new relationship. Then you take that valuable content and share it with your database. Your guest then shares the content with their list. Everybody wins. You get new relationships, you create a deeper connection with your list, and get exposure to new people that you would never have access to. And look, if you're currently mining your database with video, stop. Audio is the new reality. We are living in an influence economy. Exposure is the new social capital. Go to Viralcast with a K to learn more. And right now, for the first 25 subscribers, we're offering a 50% off the getting started price. Before we get to the content, I wanted to share a story. This is something that many of you most likely have experienced. Betrayal. Now, look, I'm always confused when a quote-unquote friend betrays me, or says one thing to my face and another to everyone else. I see it as betrayal, and they call it business. When did the world get so scarcity-minded that they'll throw others under the bus just to improve their chances of winning in the market? Now, I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to call the name of this guy's company out on the platform. But, many of you may be familiar with this guy. In fact, he's even been a guest on the show. Why am I sharing this with you? Well, I guess it's because I wanted to highlight the fact that these people are out there, and I'd forget about them. And there probably are more of these people than we want to believe. It's a reality. Each of us needs to choose how we're going to respond when these people do this to us. Will we get hurt? Yeah, of course. It's hurtful. Will we get mad? Of course. We're going to be mad at them. We're going to be mad at ourselves for allowing this to happen. But how we actually respond is the true test of who we are as individuals. It's our character. Being successful in life is more than just the amount of money we make. Being successful is being able to navigate the sharky waters of the marketplace and never lowering ourselves to become anything like those bottom feeders that will lie, cheat, and debauch themselves just to win a deal. I guess I really wanted to share because I wanted to let this be known as a public affirmation. I commit to each and every one of you that in business and in life, I will continue to lead a life of abundance and gratitude. I hope each of you will continue to join me as we all build the businesses and lives we were destined to have. Welcome to Super Agents Live. This is the one place where you can come and hear the most successful people in real estate. You'll hear how these super agents built their businesses, how they stay productive, and how they stay motivated. Who am I? My name's Toby Salgado, and I made my first $1 million in real estate. Yeah. And I'm your host for the next 30 minutes while we talk to yet another amazing real estate entrepreneur. Stay tuned.
Let's go! Yeah!
Today's episode, we talk with a guy who, with just him and a few admins, is able to do 130 deals a year, not working more than 40 hours a week, and never, ever work on the weekends. This guy's have developed the kind of business that we all got into real estate for. Time freedom, financial freedom. Look, here's what we cover. We cover why you should hire an admin or VA right now. We cover how this guy is super, uber efficient and the tools he uses to get more stuff done. You can find me on Twitter at SuperAgentsLive. The hashtag for the show is Unpack That Idea. And if you're not on my list, go to superagentslive.com. Download my free book. I share tips and strategies with my list I don't share anywhere else. And if you happen to feel stuck in your business and feel like you use some help, support, or get some new ideas, go to schoolofprofit.com. You can get some coaching there for less than $100 a month. Today on the show, pretty excited to talk with today's guest. Now, today's guest, I don't know how he gets done what he gets done, but he is in Butler, Pennsylvania, which is about 20 miles outside of, he just told me and I didn't write it down. It's okay. Pittsburgh. Okay. Today's guest has him and 3 assistants. But check this out. With 3 assistants and him, He's doing 129 deals. That's what he did last year, and that's a 21 million. So it doesn't have a huge average sales price. But we're going to find out how he does it and keep his sanity. I'm thrilled to welcome Chuck Swidzinski. Hey, Chuck, thanks for taking the time, man.
Oh, you're welcome.
So look, Chuck. Number one, I hope I didn't butcher your name too bad.
You did it just fine.
Perfect. All right. So we're going to talk about how you do this, but before we get there, take a minute and tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm always curious about who the person is behind the company itself.
Well, I've been in business 25 years, and actually probably whenever I first started in business, my goal was to do 12 transactions a year. And ironically or not, but I went to hear this man one time in Orlando, Florida, named Mike Ferry. And Mike said, I can remember him saying, if you don't have an assistant, you are one. So I immediately went back to the office and I hired an assistant. So that was like 24 years ago. And I just had some girl doing clerical work, but then it changed, and I got a licensed agent, and I just kept building from there. And now I have 3 licensed assistants that work for me full-time. Right now we have 92 active listings, and by the end of March, we'll have closed 52 homes already this year.
And it's March for everybody. It's this because this may not air till the summertime, but so it is March 5th. What is it? 18? March 16th.
March 16th, because tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day.
Got it. So okay. All right, that is crazy. So you're going to do? I mean, will you do 200 deals this year?
Well, my goal is I go up 20% each year. So my goal is that I try to go up 20% a year since I got my team formed, how we're working now. And so my goal actually this year is for 160. So, but with the way it's going, last year our market, I should have done 150 closed transactions last year, but our market was dead from January and February because all we had was ice and snow. So, and like below zero weather, so who wanted to go out in that? So we were really bad the first quarter, but then we made up for it, the other quarters.
Sure. So for that, I'm just going to round it off to 130 deals. So for your 130 deals, what's the percentage on the buyer versus seller?
Well, I have 2 really good buyer's agents, and each of those did. They both did 20 deals last year. One did 25, and the other one she did 21, I think. So, I have the buyer's agents are doing good. And then the other girl I have, she's just licensed, but she is just my right arm. She is in my office. She runs my office. She takes care of everything to completion, gets all the contracts, takes care of all that stuff. So I can't remember what your question was.
That's okay. That's all right. So hold on, Chuck. So, just so I'm clear, so this is even more okay. Your 3 assistants. Are you counting your 2 buyer's agents as assistants?
Yeah.
Okay. Which they are, and they're giving you assistance. So how Chuck? Okay, so that's fine. So let's do the math here. So roughly 95 85 deals you're doing, and 45 or so your buyer's agents are doing. Now, for you, Chuck, those are 85 listings. I just want to be clear on that. You don't work with any buyers, correct?
Oh, I do.
You do?
I'll work with buyers. Yeah, I do work with buyers. But they're either people that have been personally referred to me or people that I worked with in the past. I work with very few buyers. I give most of it to the buyer's agents. Like all the sign calls, all the internet leads, all the floor calls, they all go right to the buyer's agents. I don't deal with any of them.
Okay. So how... I can't get my head around this, man, because paperwork, follow up, blah, blah, blah. How are you doing that? That's a boatload of work, for you, and you only have 1 assistant.
Yeah, well, The other two have office stuff that they have to do also. So they do some things, like Jared does stuff with internet marketing, and he'll help Crystal when she needs help, and Marilyn does follow up with all the listings. Of course, I use Showing Suite, so we don't really have to be in contact with the people because for getting feedback on homes. Now, if the people don't answer the 3 emails like Showing Suite has set up, then Marilyn picks up the phone and calls them. But she handles all those type of calls.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this. Here's what I'm really getting at. So how many hours a week do you work?
Well, I work probably about 45 to 50.
How are you so efficient? I'm seriously not getting this. Like, you are tremendously efficient. You're getting all these deals done. Look, here's the deal. I will bring people on this show that have mega teams of 40, 50 people, right? And they might be doing $3 million in GCI, but I know for a fact what they're bringing home is not maybe 40% of that. You have this super small, guerrilla team. You're not doing 500 transactions, but you're making a ton of money working 40 hours a week. What's the secret here? How are you getting? I mean, I don't know how you're like. I don't think I'm asking a good question.
Well, I mean, I like to have fun. I will work, like in the summer. I have a place on the river, so a river house, and so I don't work on Sundays, and
right.
Everybody in my marketplace knows that I don't work on Sundays. If I have to work on Saturdays, I will, but normally I try to do it Monday through Friday and get everything out of the way. Now my 2 buyer's agents do work the weekends, but my other assistant, Crystal, does not. She works Monday through Friday. She works from 9 to 5. But I mean, you can get everything done if you plan it right. You just, I mean, and I'm a person that says, like, if they want to do something on the weekend or on a Sunday, I'm like, oh, I already have an appointment. Well, I do. I got an appointment with myself.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
Yeah. You need to have that downtime.
I agree. So, okay. What are a bunch of these, like out of your 85 deals that you wrote personally, are these a bunch of referrals?
A lot of it is, yeah. Because, like in my town, I don't live in a very big town. I mean, we're not real big. Our whole county's like 200,000 people or something like that, and so. But I'm well known in it. I mean, you ride up and down the street and everybody knows my name. My name's hanging on every corner, and so that has a lot to do with it. And I get a lot of people just calling me saying, "Hey, someone said." And when my manager's very, very good and proactive. She was an agent and went into management. She's when I close 100 transactions, we have a billboard in front of our office, and she'll put it up there. Like this last year, I think it was in September when we got to 100 transactions. So she puts that up there. Well, people, see that, and it's very good marketing. I think is basically what it is. But I'm also a person that I prospect too. I call expired listings, and I'll call for sale by owners or go to their door if I'm driving past, because they do know my name, so it gets me out there in front of them.
Right. Okay. So you're doing a ton of marketing, but you're still doing prospecting. Now, here's what you said, and I wrote this down, but I wasn't sure exactly how you meant it. So you said I've been in business for 25 years. Are you meaning that you've been in real estate in this market for 25 years?
Yeah.
Okay. 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 So let's talk about marketing. What your face is on every corner. What does that consist of for you?
Well, I do billboards. I'll have billboards up that I do. They come out with a new campaign that I just did that in one of the supermarkets. You're on the shopping carts. So I did that. So, you go to the 2 main grocery stores here and you see my face. And I'm just out there. I do a drive that for Toys for Tots that last year we got about 1,000 toys. And what I do is I rent out a restaurant, and everybody can come. I buy all the food. It's a cash bar, but I pay for all the food, and I actually get it donated, most of it through the title companies that I work with and the mortgage brokers. And everybody that wants to come has to bring a toy. You know, well, started out we had 100 toys the first year. Well, now we're up to almost 1,000. So we get tons of people that come to that, and that's just, it's just name recognition. So, and I'm out there, like in the evenings, I'm out having dinner at restaurants, and people are always coming up to me. So I have a very social schedule too.
Yeah, and Chuck, real quick, you did something with your phone. Your audio's coming in pretty bad. I don't know what you did, what you changed.
You know what? My battery's going dead on my phone. I went to my house, my landline.
Oh, that's weird. It should sound better.
Yeah, it should have been better.
No, it's worse. Dang it. Okay, so when did you realize that the key to winning in this market was just being ever present?
Probably about the second year I was in business, because I just thought, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it big.
Right.
And my second year in business, and being in a small market like this, and I have houses in my area that we closed on for $40,000. So it's not, that's not. I know people are going, whoa, but yet we do. But my average sales price is about $180,000. But I just thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to try to be really good at it, and that's what happened. But my first couple years in business, all I did was work. It just didn't come easy to me. I didn't go on vacations or anything. I just worked. So 7 days a week.
Right.
But I built my business up that I can sit back now and not have to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the way it should be. So God, I had I was thinking of something and I completely missed it. So you started out and said, hey, I want to do 12 units, 12 houses per year. What changed, and how did you make that change where you said, man, I want to go big, and I need to do everything, in line with going big?
It's, I guess the thing for me is like the thrill of winning. I love going on listing appointments because I love blowing the other agents out of the water when I go on a listing appointment, because I do compete, and there's a couple of agents that I compete with in this marketplace that, when I'm up against them, it's always fun to see who's going to win, one or the other, or one, but, and I just thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I just thought I'm going to go for big guns. But I think Mike Ferry was a big part of it, because I went to him and I saw these people that back then, which would be 22, 23 years ago, that these people were making, they were making $500,000 a year, and I'm thinking, man, can I do this? And I remember one lady, and it's funny, her name was Miss Irma, and she said she was in a small town in South somewhere, I think Louisiana, and she said, when I get depressed, I just ride around and look at my sold signs. And I thought, I want to do that. So, and it makes you feel real good when you ride around and look at your sold signs downtown, because I want to make sure when I do have a house that goes under contract, as soon as the home inspection goes through, we put up a sold sign. So it says, sold Chuck Swidzinski, sold another one. So, when you see those all around town, that gets more people to call you too.
Yep.
We also have a thing in this area. It's called the Marketplace, and it comes in our newspaper. That there's like 30,000 editions when they put it out, and it's basically what it is. It's like a homes guide, but it comes in our newspaper free the first Thursday of the month. Well, I put all my listings in there, so it shows a big presence. It's costly, but it works. If it gets me one listing a month, it pays for itself. So, I do that every month. There's, even though I'm not really into the print advertising anymore as much, but I do this because every home gets it. So if they're even thinking, or if they're not thinking about buying or selling, even people will call me and say, well, so-and-so said to call you because you get houses sold. And the more you throw out there, the more that come to you.
Okay. Yeah. No, I agree. So again, you love to win. You're a competitor. It's curious to me that somebody like you're very well known. They people see your signs. People see your business marketplace thing with Chuck Swidzinski, all your stuff. Why do you still have to compete? Why aren't you just a lock when you go into that listing agent, or I'm sorry, listing appointment?
Well, people always want to interview, and some people. I'm not, and I'll tell people when I go in for the interview and go to sit down with them, if you want to talk to me and just deal with me directly as a person, and you're going to call me all the time, I'm not the person for you. List with the other person, because I don't have time to be a hand holder or to bond with them. But I show them this is a business. I have 3 people that work for me. I spend thousands and thousands of dollars every month marketing your properties. But if you want somebody that's going to be a hand holder and bond with you, that's not me. This is my profession.
That's interesting. That is very interesting. I love that. Hey, look, man, that's not me. I'll get your house sold. I'll get you the best price, but I'm not going to be your best friend.
Right. And I don't have time for that. I have a lot of friends. So I mean, it's not. And it's it's just not. It's not the way I am.
So and look, it's funny, man. I'm okay. I mean, this is now we're getting somewhere. I think. I'm the same way. I don't want to be friends with the people I work with. However, I'm dealing with this right now, right? I told you we have a radio advertising arm. And I'm dealing with a guy who's very nervous about spending, the $8,000 a month. He's in Chicago. It's a big market. And I'm getting emotionally invested in going, crap, I got to make this work for this guy because he's nervous and he's making me nervous. And I got a phone. I literally had to call them an hour ago. I was like, I almost fired you because I'm spending too much time thinking about you. I mean, is that ever a struggle with you, Chuck? Going, hey, I really like this person. Certainly, you work with people and you're like, I like that guy. I mean, do you ever struggle with that, again, something similar to that? Like, oh man, I'm not getting their house sold quick enough, and I know they have to move, or I'm not getting the price that I thought I could get them.
We always struggle with that when you have as many listings as I do, I worry about that kind of stuff. Like an example today, I fired a listing today because the guy has been nothing but a pain in the butt, to be real honest with you. He doesn't bother me or anything, but we had an offer on his house, and I'll tell you the price for $224,900. And I got the other agent to get them up to $219,000 to get the people up to $219,000, and he's just been messing around. And he said to me today, and actually I sent him a text on Friday and said, I really don't think you want to sell your house because he'll be a week before he'll come back to me and give me an answer. I said, I think you really don't want to sell your house. Meanwhile, his house has been on the market for about 3 years with other agents.
What?
This is the first. I've had it for about probably maybe 6 months, maybe less. Probably 4 months. And we got somebody by it. He won't take this offer. He said, someone better will come along. And I said to him, well, you know what, Tim? My assistant will be down to take your lockbox off today. The key will be on your kitchen counter, and I'll take the sign down. And he said, what do you mean? I said, I'm in this business to make money, and obviously do not want to sell your house. And his fiance is my next door neighbor, so I'm going to have to face her tonight. But I fired him because you aren't going to take this offer. What's wrong with you? Right. Your house has been on the market 3 years. Obviously, you don't want to sell. So, I do get rid of people because I don't need that in my life. It just causes havoc.
Yeah, I agree with you. And for somebody like you, Chuck, I mean, you have a ton of business. You're making, you've made a bunch of money for a long time. That's not so, people that, the guy or girl out there that sells 5 houses a year, right? And again, I'm in San Diego. So, imagine somebody who sells 5-6 houses a year.
Oh, yeah.
they're trying, and even if it's, I mean, look, and even if they're selling, $850,000 houses, because we have a lot of that here, it would be hard to fire that person. So I don't know if there's any, I don't know if you give anybody any tips on how to look this. I'll tell you a quick story. I coached a kid. And he had these people. He was listed their house. They were having marital problems, and I don't even. He was a kid, man. 23, and they would call him up like at 11 o'clock at night, and he was spending from like 11 p.m. to like 2 in the morning dealing with these people, and he was involved in their marriage. I'm like, dude, walk away. And he couldn't do it. He's like, oh, no, I can sell their house. I'm like, walk away, man. So, do you have any tips for people that where people can help guide themselves, make decisions to not get sucked into, time sucks like that?
Well, I mean, there's always that the ones that you have to do that with. I mean, you're not ever going to get away from them. But think about it. I mean, like I said, I have enough friends, so I don't need them. Like in the evenings, I don't really deal on the phone after 8 or 9 o'clock.
Right.
I shut it down because I don't think that anybody needs to do business that late. Because we're not doctors. This isn't life or death.
Right.
The person's going to be there tomorrow. So you have to. I think you have to. If it's taking your energy away from you and you're getting bad energy from that, then you need to get rid of it.
Yep.
You need to have positive, because I always try to look at the glass half full instead of half empty. So, if they're bringing you down, then you really don't need them, because you could probably be going on and doing 2 more deals to that one that, you're going to try to get.
Yep, well, I agree. I think that's great sage advice, Chuck. Well, listen, Chuck, you've been a fun guy to talk with. I don't know what other nuggets I can get out of you. Maybe, look, I'm going to ask you this question. It's a crazy question, but answer it however. Take it wherever you want to go. And it's this. What's something, Chuck, I didn't ask you that I probably should have asked you? And let me ask you. I'll ask it this way, okay? Because I don't want to put you on the spot like that. So, what do you know now, after 25 years, that you wish you would have known year 1 or year 2?
Time management.
Got it.
One best thing in this is time. In this business is time management, and if you manage your time right, you can get a lot of things done, and you can be out there and be more productive. So I'm real into that, and I'm into prospecting. I think everybody needs to prospect instead of sitting there waiting for the phone to ring and them call you.
Yeah.
You need to call them.
And so I agree with that. So if somebody's going to if somebody's going to be active prospecting, where would you tell them? Let's imagine that they don't do that. Let's imagine that they're hiding behind social media, whether that's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and they're hoping to find deals. Where would you say to go? This is how to prospect, right? Do some coaching right now.
Well, prospecting, the best type of prospecting you can do is expired listings. I mean, if you call the expired listings, pick one and work on them. They're for sale sign already up. They want to sell their home. They're ready to move, and their most biggest complaint is they didn't hear from their agent enough.
Yeah.
But if you prospect every day and you do an expired listing, you're going to get listings, and listings are like money in the bank. I love sitting at my river house and the phone rings and it's an agent that says it's a Saturday or a Sunday, and they're like, "Oh, we have an offer on your property." It's very nice sitting there and realizing. I have a friend that manages a J.C. Penney's, and he said he comes often to visit. They stay at my river house, and he'll be like, "You sold 2 or 3 houses you're still in your robe." Right. Yeah. And that's a nice thing to happen. So the listings are the name of the game in real estate.
Yeah, well, I mean, that goes back to Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, right? Leads, listings, leverage. You got to have leads, you got to get the listings, and you have leverage. So I agree, and it's amazing to me, even in 2015, that people will lead off saying, I enjoy working with buyers and I want to work with buyers. I'm like, you know what? You can never build a predictable business like that. So yeah, I agree with that. All right. So look, I'm gonna ask you the same the only questions I ask, the same questions I ask everybody. And the first one is this, and I think I know the answer, but I'll ask you anyway. For you, Chuck, in your both professional and personal career, who's been a mentor to you?
Well, of course, Mike Ferry.
Yep.
Is one is I like listening to him, and now I listen to Tom Ferry, and I also listen to Darren Hardy every morning too. He sends out snippets that I listen to. So, and then there's another woman her name's Helen Sasso, who was one of the owners of one of my companies, and she was always she's very proactive with me.
Gotcha. Well, and look for Darren Hardy. I don't know if you're in on Darren. So Darren has a daily thing that he just launched in January. Are you getting those daily emails?
I do.
Okay, yeah.
I watch them every morning.
Well, look, man. What you should put on your in your rotator is this show right here. This show. I mean, we have phenomenal content, phenomenal guests, and it's always different. And just like you saw in this, it's dynamic. I take it wherever it looks like I can get some nuggets. So I'll send you the link. I can't believe you don't. Everybody listens to this show, so I'm surprised you don't.
I'm sorry, I didn't know, and I'll start listening though because I love it. I love because you can always learn something.
Yep, I agree.
Every day's a learning experience.
Yeah, and plus it's free, so the price is right. Okay, so listen, I always ask for a book recommendation, so hopefully you read. And here's the setup. I'm $25. I'm sorry, I'm an aspiring agent. I have $25. What book should I go buy today?
One of the books I really like is Life by Design by Tom Ferry.
Yeah. Yep.
And he gives you his steps to do things in. So I've always liked that book. I've read that book a couple of times.
Interesting. I have not read that book. And again, I don't know if I think I told you in the beginning. So both Tom and Mike Ferry have been on this show, and it's interesting to me to when I bring a guy like Tom on or Mike on, and I get to pick their brain about whatever I want for an hour. It almost seems like if I read that book, I already know what he's going to say about. But maybe I'll get it. I can buy it used for $1.61 plus $4 shipping on Amazon. And listen, for everybody out there, look, get a free copy of this book on us. Use our link. audibletrial.com/superagentslive. And again, you can get a free copy or any other book you want, get it free. My last question for you, Chuck, you have this seemingly, phenomenal work ethic, and you're extremely efficient, right? Using your time blocking, your time management. But do you have a personal habit, Chuck, a personal habit that you feel has contributed to your success?
Well, a personal habit. Probably just staying focused, because I make myself be focused. I'm like everybody else. I mean, I can be swayed away from things, but I do the exercise routines. I do all that, and I get up in the morning and I meditate. So, I do all that stuff to try to keep the bad stuff out of my brain. And one of the things I really don't do is I never watch the news. I don't care what's happening on the news because, that's all negative. So that's one of the things I do that I think that helps keep me positive.
That's interesting. And look, do you read books, Chuck, or no?
I do, yeah.
Because I'll give you a book that maybe if you're a morning person and routine. Have you read The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod?
No. Miracle Morning?
Yeah, Miracle. I'll tell you what. He's been on the show. Here's what I'll do: is we talk a lot about what's in that book. I will send you a link to that episode and listen to it. And if you like it, go get the book. It's a good read, but it really very much talks about a perfect morning ritual. So you might enjoy that. Well, look. Chuck, I always encourage my listeners, if they've gotten anything out of this episode with you, to reach out and to say thank you. So where can people find you, Chuck?
Well, you can find me on my website. It's chuckswidzinskiteam.com. Or I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on all the social medias. So, the Chuck Swidzinski Team on Facebook. So, I'm around. Got it.
Okay. And by the way, you have a very unique name. So I just Googled Chuck Swidzinski. You're the only guy that comes up. And by the way, for everybody, it's hard. It's not that hard to say, but if you look at the spelling, you're not going to get it. So go to the site. And all this will be on the show notes for Chuck Swidzinski. And Chuck, I'll be the first guy to kick off the thank you train. Hey, man, thanks for taking the time out and sharing with me and my audience.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. Well, let's keep in touch.
Hey, anytime. I'll do it.
All right. See you, man.
Okay.
This show is produced by me, Toby Salgado, with help from our research team and production done by Viralcast. If you're building a team and want to make sure you're doing it the most efficient way, reach out to Corcoran Coaching. They coach 83 of the nation's top producing teams. And for our listeners, they'll give you a free business evaluation. Send an email to bubba@corcorancoaching.com and let them know I told you guys to call.
Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, yo. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15%